All right, let's dive right into a really big question today. We're constantly doing things, saying things, and of course, thinking things. But out of all of that, what actually defines our path? Which of our actions truly carry the most weight? I mean, really think about that for a second. You've got your physical actions, the words that come out of your mouth, and that nonstop chatter in your head. If you had to bet on which one has the biggest ripple effect, the heaviest karmic impact, what would you choose? The whole debate really boils down to this, doesn't it? It's the tangible versus the intangible. Is it what you do with your hands, or is it the intention behind what you do? Physical action versus mental action. Which one is gonna tip the scales? Now, our gut instinct, and what a lot of ancient teachings, like those of the Nagamphas, believed, is that physical actions are king. And that kind of makes sense, right? A physical act has a visible, direct impact on the world. It feels real, solid, so it's gotta be the most important. But hang on a second. What if that common sense answer isn't the whole story? What if the real powerhouse, the true source of all that karmic weight, is something you can't even see? There's this counter-argument that completely flips that whole idea on its head. And boom, here it is, stated loud and clear. According to the Buddha, it's not what you do, it's not what you say, it's what you think. Mental karma is the heaviest. Now that is a pretty radical idea, because it puts all the focus, everything, squarely on the mind. Okay, so what exactly do we mean by mental karma? This is super important. We are not talking about every random weird thought that just pops into your head. We're talking about manokamma. This is the intention, the deliberate choice, the will behind a thought. It's that moment you decide to lean into anger or greed or compassion. That decision right there, that is the action. Okay, I know what you're probably thinking. How on earth can a little thought, just floating around in my head, be heavier than a physical act that actually changes something in the real world? It seems totally backward, but the logic behind it is pretty fascinating. So here's where we have to shift our perspective. We usually think of a thought as just the warm-up, the first step before you do something. But this teaching says, no, the intentional thought is the whole show. The moment you form that intention, your consciousness gets shaped by it, and the karmic gears start turning. In that split second, the action is already complete. It's done. And this is where it gets really profound. That consciousness, which has been shaped by all your intentional thoughts, carries a certain momentum. And it's that state of mind, especially at the very end of your life, that literally propels you into whatever comes next. If your mind is full of wholesome intentions, that positive momentum carries you forward. And if not, well, that carries you forward too. So ultimately, every one of these intentional thoughts is like a tiny nudge, steering us down one of two main highways. There's the unwholesome path, called akusala, and the wholesome path, kusala. And both of these paths begin right between your ears. And the destinations at the end of these paths couldn't be more different. It's laid out pretty directly. Unwholesome thoughts, rooted in things like greed, hatred, delusion, they lead toward unhappy states. But wholesome thoughts, the ones coming from a place of generosity, kindness, and wisdom, those are said to lead to fortunate rebirths in the human realm or even heavenly realms. The big takeaway here is just so empowering, isn't it? It means that what you do with your mind, right here, right now, is not just some passive daydreaming. Every single intentional thought is an act of creation. You are literally building the road ahead of you with every thought you choose to entertain. And that brings us right to the very end, the simple but profound conclusion of it all. If mental karma is the heaviest, if our thoughts are what create our reality, then all the power and all the responsibility is right here with us. The path is laid by the mind. So, choose for yourself.